gentleman from Minnesota is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I now am pleased to recognize the gentleman from Oregon, Mr. Schrader, for 3 minutes.
Gentleman from Oregon is recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. S-764. Well, we can demonize the work of Congress on a regular basis, and unfortunately sometimes we're our own worst enemies. I, on the other hand, feel that 764 is an example of Congress getting it right. This is a big country. A lot of diverse opinions about what we should and shouldn't be doing. I'm a farmer, and I'm a veterinarian, man of science. I am concerned, very concerned, much like my good colleague and friend from Washington State on the other side of the aisle, that there's a campaign of misinformation and disinformation about the health and safety of American food. I'll stack American farmers and producers up against anyone in the world for producing the healthiest and safest food for American consumers. This is a hard-fought compromise. Hard-fought, very hard-fought. I was on the Ag Committee when we started this discussion. You know, a lot of people want to know what's in their food, they say. Well, that's why we have ingredient labeling. So as my good colleague and friend from Oregon talked about, you can read what's on the label that might be important to you in terms of allergies, safety information, things you might actually affect, that might actually affect your health and welfare. Genetic engineering has been around for centuries. As a man of science, I'll tell you, it's a lot safer to do it in a laboratory in the field where you have mutations that you can't control. That might actually be detrimental to your health and safety. In the laboratory, you can go and control a great deal of that. And lost in this discussion is what genetic engineering, biotechnology has done for the people of this world. I remember not too many years ago, I'm a little older, where we were worried about feeding the world's population. Back in 1965, 66, there was concern. Do we have enough arable land? You know, is the food going to be nutritious? A lot of people in other countries, not conducive climates, can't raise their own food. In this country, we can. And through science and engineering, we've created more nutritious crops, crops that can grow in bad environments. We can now do no-till because we have agents that will control weeds and pests. If you're concerned about climate change, you ought to be strongly in favor of this bill. Strongly in favor of this bill. This is less use of some of the very agents that some of my friends on my side of the aisle are concerned about. Having said that, I am from Oregon. We're a transparency state. We want to know as much as we can about everything, our election processes, our environment, and apparently our food. The Senate has come up with a compromise. I liked our House bill, but they've come up with a compromise. We now have labeling for GMO. We actually have a definition in this bill of what GMO is, so the consumer is protected. Again, it's not a patchwork of regulations around the country. Now we have a standard that the consumer can take to the bank and understand. The idea that people don't have cell phones is ludicrous. I've had people in pretty tough situations in my district don't have a whole heck of a lot. They know how to use it, get the apps, and make sure they can understand what's in their food. I think this should be an hour we celebrate. The other side has to finally, I hope, accept victory. We have a mandatory labeling for GMO. This is a great compromise. Democrats, Republicans, Senate and House, let's accept and vote for Senate Bill 764 for the American consumer and the American